This is a lesson for Robbie Kershaw to make him pass his NAB, which he has to do to pass his final exam. So you make sure you're watching this, Robbie. Okay, so in this question we have to work out what the value of k is and then put it back into the equation. So the final answer would look like y equals 3x squared or y equals 4x squared or so on. You'll be given a coordinate. In this case I'm going to write down 327. That's given to us. So you first have to realise that that's an x coordinate 3 and the 27 is a y part of the coordinate. So once you understand that, you can substitute these values in over here. So this means that x is 3, so you're going to square the 3 and you're going to put the 27 in over here. So that's going to turn out like this. 27 equals k multiplied by 3 squared. Because the letters are next to each other, that's multiplying. So that's really the same as 27 is equal to 9 times k, because 3 squared is 9. And finally, what times 9 makes 27? It's 3. You will not get the 1 mark over here if you just leave it like that. You have to rewrite it like this, y equals 3x squared. And that's that question done. Next question is basically, can you work out the values of a and b and write down the equation of the quadratic? So in this case, the b moves the quadratic up and down and the a moves it left and right. The b is straightforward. If it goes up 1, b is 1. If it goes up 2, b is 2. If it goes down 1, b is negative 1, and so on. It's the a that's the opposite value. The bracket has to come to 0 when you put the x value in. In this case, the x value is 3. So a must be negative 3. So the equation of this quadratic here would be y equals x take away 3 squared plus 1 for 2 marks. This one, the a part would not be negative 2, it would be positive 2. X is negative 2 here, so a needs to be positive 2. So the equation would be y equals x plus 2 squared, and it goes up 3, so it would be plus 3. Okay, question 8, relating back to question 7, you need to try and picture where the quadratic is. Now, it's x minus 3, so that means the quadratic has moved forwards 3 and up 4. If you look at that here, it's going to be forwards 3 and up 4. That's where the quadratic is at for question 8. Forwards 3 and up 4. So we're asked for the line of symmetry, or the equation of the axis of symmetry. Well, that's straight up and down here. A line straight up and down. We can put it in if you find that easier. Here's your axis of symmetry. That's where it's symmetrical. It would fold over on top of the other one. And that happens at 3, not minus 3. X equals 3. So that's your answer. X equals 3. And write down the coordinates of the turning point. Well, it's forwards 3 and up 4, so 3, 4. And it's a minimum because this is a positive bracket, not a negative. So to recap, your axis of symmetry is x equals 3, and your turning point is 3, 4, and it's a minimum. Question 9, I'm not going to put anything in here because you don't even need to look at it. The answer to this is just looking at the graph. Use the graph to solve, that's the hint, and it's only worth a mark. So we're really trying to find where the graph cuts the x-axis, and that's at minus 2 and 1. So x equals minus 2 and x equals 1. Doesn't matter what's written here. If it was like this, the answers would be x equals 1 and x equals 4. Question 10, we're using a different technique to find out where the quadratic cuts the x-axis. In this case, we're going to use factorization because there's no graph to look at. So you have to put it into double brackets. Your first bracket is going to have an x at the front. Your second bracket is going to have an x at the front. And we're going to let them equal 0. Now the numbers at the end need to multiply to make this, but they also have to add or subtract to make this. So the numbers you're thinking about or should be 4 and 1 or 2 and 2. But we need to make a 3. You can't make a 3 with 2 and a 2. So it's got to be a 4 and a 1. So 1, 4. Let's think of the signs now. We need to try and make a negative 3. So you can either have plus 4 take away 1, that makes positive 3. So it's got to be negative 4 plus 1. We're not finished at that point, that's not the answer. The answer is where does it cut the axis. I need two values. I've not given any values at the moment. The values are when the brackets are equal to 0 to make this equation equal to 0. So it's x equals 4 or x is minus 1. And the last part of this section, to get 9 out of 13, you need to do the quadratic formula. I'm not going to do that here. Look at the lesson in quadratic formula. It's in Algebra 2 section. You'll see the quadratic part in the Moodle website. Go and click on the video files for that and you'll find a lesson on the quadratic formula. In this case, A is 1, B is negative 7 and C is 3. Put it in and get your two decimal answers.